Doc Ellis, your number one asshole. Happy Valentine's Day, my beloved. The Hick Doctor from Oklahoma. Ask Doc Ellis. Okay. Norman, Missouri. What can I do about sexual harassment in the Army in 1985? You can file a complaint. You can get VA disability for the anxiety, depression, and PTSD it caused. Now, what you can do about the Army, that's another thing, but you can get VA disability for that. And that's just a Nexus report, and you tell me about it, and I write it down. That's your history, because you probably don't have any records. Don't worry about that. We'll take care of that, because you'll tell me, I believe it, and I will become your medical history. And here we have another VA, Quannah. I've already diagnosed with sleep apnea through my primary doctor. Need a Nexus report for VA. Now, if you had anything that hurt you and cut down your activities, daily living, cut down your exercise ability, and made you gain any weight, then that sleep apnea is covered. If you have ringing in your ears, tinnitus, we got sleep apnea is covered, both by case law and medical law. And if you have any sinuses or anything like that, we get that, make that approved, and then your sleep apnea is covered. Now, if it started in the service, like you're in there 20 years and you started the service, if it starts in the service, it's covered. So, and that's worth it, because sleep apnea is 50%. Also, then if you ever die of heart attack or stroke, your spouse gets a pension, because they'll write me, and I will do a widow's pension for them. And can you imagine how fun that is? I did one today. Appreciate it. And someone said I do those widow things for free. I don't either. I charge $500, then I gift it off. Because if I did charge $500, lightning come from the ceiling. So how fun it is to help a widow get her pension. So you guys that have been turned down, like for tinnitus, go ahead and fight it, get it, because if you've got that, then it contributes to hypertension and all the things that can happen to hypertension, and the widow gets pension. Because the VA law and federal law is ridiculously fair. Make them follow the rules. Okay. Here's from North Dakota. Again, you had potential. Okay, 3M earplugs. Obviously, if you had those plugs, it's going to be a lot easier to win a hearing loss and tinnitus. Now, you'll see on TV. You call a lawyer. There's a separate fund. It's like a personal injury fund, but it's a fund so you can. There'd be a case against 3M. That you need a lawyer. You don't need me. You don't want my Nexus board. They will have doctors that are trained in the law of the 3M lawsuit, and they will write those reports for you. But you call the lawyer, they'll set it up. But as far as hearing loss and tinnitus, it's nice to say you had used those earplugs. It's just good history. I don't need any proof of it. You just tell me you did. And of course, you had proof is gravy. Okay. Okay, so that was the 3 plugs, okay, 3M plugs. And he's saying it's least likely not. I would assume the criteria for the lawsuit against 3M is going to be a little different than the verbiage in VA. But the doctors will know that. I mean, your lawyers will know that, and they'll train the doctors. Unfortunately, we doctors are not trained in legal medicine, so we need training. So doctors, when a lawyer tells you something, the words to use, listen to him, because he knows what's needed. Okay. Hearing loss, exacerbated PTSD, you're damn right. And TBI, traumatic brain injury, damn right. Okay. Okay. Well, he's got his furs. Good, that's good. The face obtaining fair treatment. Fair and honest treatment occurs after you die. In this side of the world of it, you got to fight. Okay. Difficult to trust any VA provider. Okay. Let me tell you why. You're not paranoid. This is true. We doctors are not trained in legal medicine, and everybody has a pervasive subconscious bias against anybody that files a claim, like a car wreck or a VA or a Social Security. They're all faking. And it's so pervasive that Allstate ran an ad for extra months. We fight fake claims to keep car insurance premiums down. Buy our car insurance. Now, what that ad says is if you file against them, they're going to fight you. But our subconscious bias is so deep and rooted in us. It's almost like being a KKK guy and a black man. I mean, it's just awful. It's a bias. It's a racism against anybody who files claim. They used it for months in high prime time, and it worked because it sold a lot of insurance. By the way, I took the master's course in accident reconstruction, and it didn't bother my people anymore because I could provide biomechanics and accident reconstruction at a very low price and help people get taken care of. Now, just to digress, I had a video deposition, and the respondent attorney for the insurance company said, now, in this low-speed accident, I said, stop right there. You said low-speed accident, cite a reference. I'm the expert witness here. Now, you're not the expert witness. You said slow speed. What do you mean by slow speed? Withdraw that. And we argue, and I said, no. But we're going to cancel the deposition. I'm going to go for the judge. You're going to withdraw that statement. You can't start a question with a statement. You get away with it probably all your life. Maybe you've been taught that in law school. But I ain't stupid, and you shouldn't be stupid. So finally, he withdraws the statement. Now, you've withdrawn the statement. I appreciate it. But now, since you brought it, let's talk about low speed. Now, what do you call low speed? 10 miles an hour? 15 miles? 20 miles an hour? Whatever. And they finally get out of him 20 miles an hour. I said, okay. Now, if you're in an Indianapolis 500 going 200 miles an hour, you're not going to hurt your neck because your neck is against the head. Okay. But no one drives like that. It's the jerk that gets you. In a car wreck, the jerk is so quick that you don't even put it in the Excel equation. It's almost zero. If you've seen when they were trying to do the, start to go to the moon and stuff, the rocket sleds, that's quick, but it's a lot longer than a car wreck. So it's the jerk that gets you there. So I tell you, sir, if I take your chair, turn it sideways, lift it up in the air so that when it hits the ground, it's going 10 miles an hour. That's the same as falling off this desk, 3.3 feet. A 15-mile car wreck, I stood up, is a 7.5-foot ladder. 20 miles an hour, your low speed, is the top of a one-story building where Santa Claus comes down the chimney. How'd you like for me to kick you off a one-story building? Slow speed. Get your facts right before you start making statements. Of course, he was so flustered then he didn't know what he was doing. If you're going to if you try to put me in court, you better know who I am. I call it on you. You got to cite references. You got to obey the law. I'm going to call you on it, or we'll walk out of it and we'll go to the judge to rule on it. You don't get to run over people. Okay, now here. Okay, so now we've got Damon, North Dakota.
I think you did, Damon.
I'm still. Yeah, I'm 10.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so you just get Nexus reports, and in a VA you go. It depends on where you are. Muskogee here in Oklahoma, pretty middle of the road raters, pretty fair. I had a VA rater from St. Louis. Oh, Dr. Ellis, you're so wonderful. You give us a nice, easy chronological history, and you look up the codes and the percentages, and your Nexus report just makes sense. You can put it in English. We wish other people like you. I said, lady, don't say that out loud. They'll fire you. Okay. Now, Texas, sometimes some of the denials are just absurd. So it depends who you get. But don't give up. And the best thing is to go to the Board of Veterans Appeals. Those judges are lawyers, and they know the law is fair and pro-veteran, and it's no politics, and they're just honest people. In fact, go to the Board of Veterans Appeals, Google it, and Google Ellis. Remand, under Ellis report, remand, based on Ellis report, remand, do it right. Okay, because all I do is tell the truth. I don't care who the hair lifts. Jesus reads my rewards. Okay. Got a wealth of medical evidence. That's great. Bring it in. Set it in when you send stuff. If you can find a case or medical thing, something in WebMD, attach it to your stuff when you send stuff in. And it never hurts my feelings if you bring it to me. I love you. Some doctors don't like spouses in with it. Hey, if you got a guy, you got to have a spouse there. We guys don't remember anything. Still remember Roughneck. This is a state workers' comp came. Back claim. You ever had any back problems? No, I don't think so, Doc. I pulled the shirt up. I see 2 scars from 2 back surgeries. He's not faking. He just forgot. Okay, now this is from Doc. Are we able to file workers' comp based on muscle attachment? Absolutely. Absolutely. Strain and muscle tear are the same thing. Well, we'll see. I'll get to see grammar. Scheduled awards deal with all injuries. Yes, but not a scheduled award. In other words, a scheduled award, what's that? It's a permanent partial disability impairment rating, money for injury. A schedule, back in 1916, when the federal workers' comp law was the first workers' comp law, cut off finger was the schedule. You cut things off, and so it's basically extremities. Then later they added organs like lungs and maybe your gonads and uterus and stuff. But hearts, brains, and spines and certain things in your abdomen, you don't get a scheduled award for, because you don't need a heart or a brain or a spine to work for the federal government. No, it just hadn't been upgraded. It's like used to in Oklahoma, if there was a rape victim, you had to show damage. Well, there's no physical damage, but my God, the psychological damage, I don't even want to start. I mean, it's 100% as far as I'm concerned. Okay. So then they changed the law. No, it's based on the psychological damage. So you can have brain damage and not get any scheduled award in federal. Yeah, what you got?
Did you know that in Russia, a rape victim has the right, if found guilty, to
shoot the other person?
Yes.
That probably cut that back down a little bit. Okay. Okay. Muscle tears. Hurt at work. Now it's your back. His back is covered. Your back is not covered, but your nerve from your back down your leg, or nerve from your neck down your arm is. So when they say spines are not covered, that's not really true. You can have an injury in the spine. For instance, the way you would rate in the AMA guides for evaluation of birth impairment, you'd rate a diagnosis, range of motion, nerves, and put all that together and come up with a number. In federal, you can only rate the arm, the leg. For instance, Tinker Air Force Base, the guy put a guy in a print shop, opened a 55-gallon drum of toluene. That's like sniffing glue, okay? And it doesn't take much, just a few sniffs of glue, and it hurts your brain. Just like if you take gasoline and wash off a spark plug, you get tingling in your fingers. You're taking the fat off those nerves. So don't sniff glue. Don't sniff hydrocarbons. Don't vape. You're gonna find out later that it's hurting the brain, not just your lungs. Lungs can't handle oil. The brain can't handle oil. Okay. All right. So go get a law degree and sue these people, because it's coming that they didn't do these studies on it. Okay. So you'll need to have your back expanded or upgraded to include radiculopathy down the legs, if you have it. And then you'll need a torture test where they stick needles in you and see how fast the nerve conducts electricity. And if that's positive, then you can get a scheduled award. And also on scheduled awards, repeat them every year. If it gets worse, you get more. If it doesn't hurt anything. Okay. Okay, and it's permanent injury. You can always come back for that. Some days are bad, some days are worse. Okay. Okay, here is, they awarded me 20% for 25 years of my lumbar strain. How can I get secondary radiculopathy processed? You need a Nexus board. And now, under VA, you don't need to have the torture. You don't need to have an EMG nerve conductor study. You do that on physical exam. You tell me, I'll run a pinwheel, monofilament, light touch, and 2-point discrimination, and we'll know exactly which nerve it is. We'll be able to rate it. No problem. Okay. All righty. Daryl, if I send a copy of my medical records for Nexus, do you need appointment to your officer or telehealth? Let's try telehealth. Well, let's take a look at the record and see what it is. Let's try telehealth. If you win it, great. If not, you'll lose $500 per condition. You come in and we do it. And we'll do a range of motion, do that as a physical. But we get a lot of them approved. Especially psych, PTSD stuff. Okay. What do you mean when you say unlimited treatment allowed? In federal workers' comp, you get treatment the rest of your life. All kinds of treatment. I got a swimming pool for someone once, but only because they have severe rheumatoid arthritis, and of course it took a lot of documentation and stuff to do that. But they needed that. I wouldn't do that for just anybody. But you get all kinds of neuromedical equipment. You get treatment. All right. Treatment is allowed forever. When you're on workers' comp, you get treatment. Or let's say you're on workers' comp and you got a little bit better, and then your back got worse. That it had a recurrence. You reopen the claim. It never closes. It closes, then you reopen. Close, reopen. Denial, reopen. Don't give up. VA and federal are very fair. Okay, Diana. Maximum medical improvement. Wait to see a doctor for scheduled ward. How can I get somebody to come see me? I live in Texas. Well, scheduled awards, I'm telling you, you need to come here. You have Nicole do it, not even me. Because in the scheduled award, if you use just the book, it's okay. But federal workers' comp, FICA bulletin, you get more. In other words, in the book, AMA Guide, 6th edition, you look at somebody, let's say shoulder, and you say range of motion. If that's the highest, that's what you get. If it's a diagnosis, you can add nerves and stuff to it. Well, FICA bulletin, and I have it in all my forms, if range of motion is higher, you can add the nerve to it. Now, if you go to any Tom, Dick, and Harry, or someone took the course by the AMA guides, or the actual author of the guides, you're going to get screwed because they don't know all the FICA bulletins. And there's a bunch of them you got to be on top of. So you're going to have to come to Hoboken, Poto, Oklahoma. You have to come to Oklahoma City. And we're expanding, and we're not moving that around. You've got to come in where they can do it correctly. Now the good thing is the district medical advisors really follow the book to the T, and so although it's a conservative book, everybody's in the same boat, and the DMAs do a good job of because they have to review every impairment rating in their scheduled award. And I found on the whole they're just good old guys and gals, and tell the truth and just call it. Okay, I have 5 herniated discs, pain radiated down my leg. That needs to be rated. Now, if it's not yet approved, then we need to get it approved. You need to get it expanded. Okay. Okay, DBQs, we do DBQs. Depends on where you are. Some veteran service officers want them, some don't. They're not required. They don't hurt. Okay. And this is Norman. I got asthma, service connected, 10%, back in 91. If you're using the inhaler, you got to start at 30%. Okay. Oh, and awarded 30% in 2007. Wonder if you could go back to 1991. If you're using inhalers in 1991, we need to go what's called an EMIRE and say it should have been 30% from the beginning. But anyway, you'll need a lawyer for that, but it's worth the trouble. Now, so then I went to primary care road postmaster, so obviously you're also a federal employee. Some restrictions for the asthma. And the postmaster made you go out on disability retirement. That's not right, but you did. And I was denied. Ooh, good. I hope you're denied for retirement. And if they won't let you work with your asthma, then you're on temporary total disability. Okay, which is 70%, 75% of your salary. Okay, now we're talking PACT Act, which is VA, and it had another increase. I can't now we're saying I can't do for unemployability because if at 30%, you got to be at 40%. Okay, so your asthma may be more than 30%. Now, do you have sinusitis that needs to be added? Do you have bronchitis? Most people do. When you have an inflammatory condition in your lungs, it makes it real easy to get an infection. So there may be other conditions that need to be added to that, and then you can go for VA unemployability if you're never going to work. You put in for other illness. Okay, good. So let's get them approved. Some are PACT Act, but they don't have to be PACT Act. This pack task just means if you have that, it's a given. We can always provide the medical rationale how that is contributed to. Station in Turkey, dry and dusty and toxic environment, yeah. So you're probably more than 30% to begin with just on that. So you get that up and add the other conditions. And maybe, maybe you've got something else. Maybe you're depressed, who knows. The law is very fair. Well, we're through. Well, God bless you guys. Hey, my beloved, happy Valentine's Day. Love doing this. Send in your questions.